Hello, and welcome to today's episode. If you've already heard the introduction before, then just skip ahead about 4 minutes. Otherwise, the Bible is referred to as the living Word of God. It isn't a book that is meant simply to be read. It is a perspective-altering substance that is meant to be ingested and absorbed into you. And when it becomes a part of you, it changes you. And that is exactly what it is meant to do. A psalm is a spiritual song based on real-life experiences that reveal a profound, foundational insight that is then expressed in the form of music, which is usually played on a harp. This is my own paraphrase of the Psalms. Now, there is an important difference between a paraphrase and a translation, and it is important to understand what that difference is. A translation takes a text word by word, and it finds the most accurate word in another language to convey the meaning of that original word. But sometimes getting the details right can come at the expense of the big picture. For example, the literal translation for a butt dial and the literal translation for a booty call could end up being exactly the same if they were both translated very literally into another language. But we all know that those are two very different ideas. A paraphrase, on the other hand, is attempting to capture the spirit of the idea that is being expressed, but both approaches come with their own disadvantages. Sometimes the most literal translation for each word, while still technically accurate, also loses something in its translation. For example, if you were to translate the phrase, "cat got your tongue," into another language, it would make no sense to them. Why would a cat grab your tongue? What are you even talking about? In order to convey the original idea, you would have to find out which saying is used in that other language to express the same concept. But it might not involve a cat, or even any animal at all. And so the literal translation would not be a very accurate one. But in a case like the one that I just described, the idea is more important than sticking to a very literal translation that also loses all of its intended meaning. However, because paraphrases are an individual's interpretation of the underlying idea instead of a rigorous academic translation of the word, they are not as objectively accurate as a translation is. A paraphrase is a lot more subjective, and that makes it much more susceptible to interpretations that are way off the mark of the original text's intent. The focus of a translation is on detailed accuracy, and sometimes the broader picture is not conveyed very clearly as a result. The focus of a paraphrase is on painting that big picture, but it often loses the accuracy of the finer details. Both are useful as long as you understand which is which and what the disadvantages to each approach are. And that is why I recommend using both an accurate translation like the New American Standard and a responsible paraphrase. This is a messianic psalm that references Jesus being given gall and vinegar on the cross, which was recorded after it happened in Matthew 27:34 and 48, Mark 15:23 and 36, Luke 23:36, and John 19:28 through 30. Psalm 69, Part B, verses 16 through 28. Hear me, Most High, and answer. For your abundant love and unmerited mercy are soothing like a balm. So in the limitless depths of your unwavering compassion and maternal tenderness, turn in my direction. Do not hide your face from your hard-working servant who follows your lead. For I am distressed and trapped. So hear and answer me with speed. Gather my entire being close to you. Pay the ransom that is required to get me back and to free me from my hostile enemies. For you know the contempt and the humiliating insults that I endure, my embarrassment and my shame. For all of my opponents are fully known to you, and they stand before you right now. The sheer contempt and humiliation that assaults me on all sides has broken my heart, and I am dying in unbearable torment. I looked around, hoping to find even one person who would take pity and show me the smallest measure of compassion. But there was not even one person who did. My heart ached for someone to comfort me, but I found no one. Instead, they gave me bitter poison for my sustenance. And in the anguish of my final thirst, they gave me soured wine to drink. Let their own hospitable banquet that is laid out in front of them be a trap, and cause the very moment that was supposed to make them complete and guarantee their peace and well-being to be a deceitful trick, the bait inside of a noose. May their eyes grow dark so that they cannot see, and may the core of their bodies never stop shaking. Pour out the full fury of your outrage on them, and send out the fierceness of your burning anger to catch up with them. Cause the place where they live to become empty and desolate. May their homes be barren, and may they be completely deserted, having no one to share their lives with, because they persecute the person that you have already struck. And they use gossip to spread the pain of those whom you have wounded, in the arrogant assumption that they can read your mind and your purpose. So tally up the guilt of one warped crime upon another in their record, and in your integrity, shut them out of your perfection. Give them no part in your justice and charity. Cross them out of the book of life, and do not record them at all among the names of those who are alive and aim up, embodying justice and integrity. I pray that whatever voice God might choose to give me in this world, He would also give me the words that I should use it for. These words have meaning for me, and if they had some meaning for you as well, then I am truly grateful that we have both been given a gift from above, and from each other. Have a good day out there, my friends.